Peace and blessings. Vibe Tribe is on once again. It's going up in the building. EY Pele movement. We focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. We're excited. We have a special guest in the building on the night, a good sister, good friend of mine, Sister Mushir.
Yes.
Okay. She is an author, motivational speaker, empowerment coach. Okay. She deals with health. Hey, fam, you're in for a treat. Like I told you, we focus on your mental, your spiritual, and your physical well-being. Okay. So, our sister, we're going to be talking about surrendering to your purpose on this evening, which I think is very, very, very important. As you know, on Thursdays, I do life hacks with Bakari. And so today I got a special guest for the life hacks, and that's what we're going to highlight on the day. We're dealing with your spiritual journey. So we want you to be mentally, spiritually, and physically well. We want you to be able to live your best life in this life. Before we do that, I'm going to go on a short commercial break and we'll be right back. So here we are with Sister Mushir in the building, creative strategist, ordained elder, certified life coach, business and brand consultant, performing and abstract artist. We're going to have to talk about that one. Well, you have to break that one down.
Okay.
Unlimited possibilities. The PR, marketing, industry executive, creative writer, COO of Boss, the New Black, Oswald Family Office Liaison, Team Freeway, Ricky Ross. And this is how my sister and I, that's how we actually connected too, through one of the representatives for the Freeway, Ricky Ross side of the house, man, which we're proud to be proud members of. So let's do this, sis. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful on purpose.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Excellent, man. This sister's a fireball, man. You got to definitely check out all the social media outlets that's up on the screen right there. She always is sharing some powerful content, whether it's her or whether it's somebody else. She's so full of life. Sis, you're on a 21-day fast right now?
21-day raw detox. Yes. This is day 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 21 days raw. How are you doing on that so far? How's that journey going?
So today is my first day of vegetables. The first 7 days were fruit only.
Yes.
And I went through some changes. I can be totally honest, because I've been vegan for about 10 months now, close to a year, but fruit every day.
Vegan, stand up. Where my vegans at? Put some fruit in the chat. Put some fruit in the chat. Where you at, vegans? Where you at? Where you at? My vegetarians, put some veggies, some fruits out there. Let's do it.
The thing that was crazy, I didn't recognize I was going to deal with. I wanted something crunchy because the texture of most fruit is the same. Mm-hmm. So I was, feeling for something crunchy. So I cannot lie, I did start eating some peanuts. Some walnuts.
Okay. Was that breaking your fast? Was that wrong?
No. So the setup was 7 days straight, just fruit only.
Okay.
And then day 8, bringing vegetables, grains, and nuts.
Okay.
I just jumped the gun a little early. I had to. I was like, I need a different texture in my tongue. I need it to feel a little different. But
I said, okay, she just started a little early. That's what that was.
And I'm surviving though. I wake up feeling so rejuvenated.
I tell you, boy. You got a way of, making that thing right with you. You know how we do. We like, it's just a little early. It's just.
Listen, I gave every excuse. I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I have a Facebook group called Power Movers Unlimited, and every day I get on there and I do a live to talk to everybody that's on the challenge with me. So I did let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I jumped in and did some nuts a little early. You can too if you want to, but yeah, I'm honest with it.
I'm gonna see if my wife going to do that challenge.
Listen, you know what? In one way, it's kind of.
Where you at, Queen? If you gonna do it, put some veggies out there. Put some fruits.
She hear you in the background. She like, I don't know. But I think, for me, I needed to make some serious changes with my life moving forward. So if you can discipline what you put in your mouth, you can do anything. And so that's the part. That's why I wanted to. I've done up to like maybe 4 days before in the past, 5 days, but to do 21 straight days is going to detox my mind, not just my body, my mind, as well as my spirit.
Yeah. All right, we gonna get into that, man. You already kicking this things off, so let's talk about it, because I always like to ask the guests on what subject matter do they want to discuss at that time, because I really do believe in allowing the spirit to lead and what have you, and so you chose the topic surrender to purpose. You have a powerful testimony too, though.
Wow.
And so before we get into that part of it, tell us who Mushir is. Like, now you this person that has surrendered to purpose, but give us a brief synopsis of how you got to this point today where you are also empowering others to surrender to their purpose as well.
Okay, so you said brief, so I'm trying to condense this down in like maybe 3 minutes. But
it's all right.
Grew up in a church, and I'm a creative singer, songwriter, actress, poet, playwright, and so singing in the choir, and I got into ministry because life for me was very tumultuous. I mean, my lows were lower than my highs were high, and I never recognized that it was connected to the assignment that was on my life. I was young, so I was just going through to get through. And I think it was about 2008, I got ordained, got into ministry, and started a women's Bible study called Art Me Pretty, because what God showed me was I could use my creative arts as a place to dump how I was feeling in the moment, because I was making decisions based on how I was feeling, and I was filled with this history of life experiences that was sort of in the way. But when I would write in my journal, write poems, if I would paint or go out and sing or write a play or act in a play, I had this sense and space of freedom for myself. And I was able to make decisions from a free space. So Art Me Pretty, the Bible study, was created. And for about 7 years, 6 or 7 years, I met once a week with about 30 women. It fluctuated from 20 to 30 women every week. And we delved into life issues that most churches don't want to talk about, but we need to talk about. And at the end of every Bible study, I had attached a creative art activity to help dump all that stuff that we had dug through and brought up to the surface. And, that worked very well. As I begin to move forward, I would have to mention my spiritual father, who has recently passed away, Bishop Apostle Otis L. Carswell, phenomenal man of God. So sad that he, I'm happy that he's transitioned. He's with God, but I'm going to miss him. He deposited into my life and told me, you're going to do great things. And I want to make sure that you get, this elevation on paper that you need for where you're going. And I didn't really understand at the time, but I had shifted into a higher level of ministry, which is really a higher level of service to people. And I continued in ministry for several years, singing, preaching, workshops, just everything that I had gone through. I recognized that there were real people, real women going through these issues, and they're going to church looking for a healing. But when they get to church, they get church. When they get to church, they get church. It wasn't as if they were able to see leaders who put one pants leg on at the same time who were just like them. They got into the culture of church. And so for me, I wanted to have a safe space for women to get this real healing. And so the healing journey for me pulled me out of the pulpit. It pulled me out of organized religion and church as we know it, into a space of deeper healing and a stronger relationship and personal relationship with God. And that is just, The Power in You Unlimited is the name of my brand. It used to be The Power in You Ministries. God told me to take ministries off because that's pigeonholing the process and the service. Power in You Unlimited. And then from there, surrender to purpose is a part of that, because in order to tap into the power in you that is unlimited, you have to surrender. Surrender looks different to everybody. Everybody's surrender is different, but you can't try to segue and go around the process. You gotta see you and meet you. And that's
You already diving in. You diving in already.
it's a place where but you asked me to tell you my story. For me, it's been me and God.
Now go ahead, release. Let it out, let it flow. Like
it's just
said.
been me and God, and so I had to hear God's voice, and I had to surrender and submit to what He was saying in my spirit for me to, really be okay with letting go. Because I was knee deep into the church culture more than I was tuned into a spiritual relationship with God. I said everything I needed to say.
I love that.
Did everything I needed to do. But when life would show up, I seemed to fall into these cycles of survival mode. That if everything of my faith was working the way it was supposed to work, survival mode should have been gone a long time ago. But I needed to have a real, true personal relationship with God. So, that's how I got on this journey, and I am sharing with everyone that I come across that it is okay to step away. The goal is to tap into that internal healing for yourself, listen to God, and let Him guide you. Wonderful. And find some like-minded people to do it with. So yeah, that's my purpose out here.
Like Aaron Martin out there, who says, yes, the creative flow is so safe, and you helped me to bring this out.
Wow, that is my sister.
Yeah, so you got a witness out there.
Listen,
that this program that you have is actually working. It's empowering. There go one witness right there. You know what I'm saying? That can testify, and also I can, because your energy. You know what I'm saying? Your energy that you put out is always, positive and whatnot. Again, you have a powerful story. I know you tried to condense it there, but let's unpack it a little more, because I know from what I had talked from brother to sister here. You and I had that discussion. You told me about some traumatic things, because you definitely deal with a healing ministry as well.
Yes.
So let's deal, because there's a verse that says to heal the brokenhearted, giving people beauty for ashes, and for them to get anointed with the oil of gladness. To me, that's your ministry, sis. Let's lay that thing out, because you came from a very traumatic background to this person of joy now that we're observing in front of us. So let's just, whatever you feel like sharing that you're comfortable with, let's talk about that, in this moment.
So, so grateful that you are the host and the man that you are, and that you share on your platform to help service to community. I love it. Because you hold the brakes and said, we're gonna break this sucker down.
That's right.
I'm so grateful, because
man, we will give us some sustenance, man.
Because sometimes it's like, okay, my well is deep, but I'm gonna bring it.
Oh, let them drink from it, sis. Let them drink.
Yeah. So literally, coming from a Black neighborhood and the culture that I come from, the struggle was disguised. It didn't look like the struggle. Grandma and them always made it look like it was good. And as a child, I was molested brutally by my stepfather for about 14, 15 years. It started at the age of 1, and it didn't come to a close until about 14, 15. And I had no idea, because it had happened so long throughout my life. I thought that this was normal until I saw an ABC after school special when I was about 9 years old. And, it was like, if someone touches you inappropriate, tell a grown up and tell a teacher. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what has been happening to me. I I didn't know what to do. On the outside, I love my dad. On the inside, I love my dad. I just didn't like what my dad did to me. And I didn't know how to stop it because he was a police officer and he had guns, and he would use guns in the abuse. And it was very extremely brutal. And if I told anybody or said anyone, he was going to kill my family. So when he finally got caught, my mother almost caught him trying to grab on me and kiss me. He threw my mom across the room because she came at him throwing blows, like trying to beat him up. And he threw her across the room, ran out the house, and left. I went to go live with my grandmother. My mom and my little brother stayed. And at that time, abandonment issues, all sorts of things began to, I was looking for love. I needed validation and confirmation, because at the same time, I'm the little girl that is singing like a full-grown woman all over the city, winning concerts and, lead singer in this church choir and this gospel ensemble, and I'm dancing and doing theater. So I was a pedestal kid. So it taught me that everybody loves when I perform, but I didn't feel like no one really cared about the real me. And that thing was on the inside festering. And it led me down a road of relationships with abusive boyfriends who turned into abusive men. And one of the major relationships of my life, my children's father, is that is a story, a book, and a testimony all to itself. Because when I was so under his control. Mm-hmm. When I started to thinking for myself and stepping up for myself and thinking for myself, because we ran a promotions and marketing company, we ran a record label. He was the owner of one of the biggest clubs in the city. He managed all of the radio DJs. Like, I'm talking about national music industry. And when I started to think for myself, and he didn't like that, the abuse got worse and worse and worse. And when I realized and I tried to leave him, that's when he started shooting at me, and he chased me from state to state. And I was away from my children for 7 years, and I was homeless for 2 of those years. And I was this little church girl. I moved in with him at 20 years old, and I had lived with my mom and my grandmother up until then. So I was greener than the blade of grass that you can find. And here I am in Detroit City, and I don't know nothing. And my family that was there were very money oriented, and I was like a deer in headlights. So everything that could possibly happen to somebody like me happened to somebody like me. Thank God for my gifts and my talents. So I had no idea that this little girl who was cultivating all of these performing talents would use them later on in life, but God knew. And while I was there, I was in a movie, I did plays, I sang it with I wrote songs for professional gospel artists. I cultivated my craft to another level, but I was also raped 12 times. 9 times for brutal. Most of it was date rape, but I went through a lot.
So you mask all this stuff. You was doing all these great things, but
the actress
on the inside,
the actress would show up. I would have nervous breakdowns every 2-3 days because I would wake up I said I was homeless for 2 years, meaning I was trying to pay for rooms at a hotel. Mm-hmm. It's $50 a night. I couldn't see myself being a prostitute or a stripper because I knew my mother, when I ran to Detroit, my mother had just died in her sleep 3 months ago. So I was grieving the death of my mother.
Condolences.
And I kept thinking her spirit was watching me. And I didn't want to do anything, even though I did a lot. But there were certain things that I just could not do because I thought my mother would see me. And then what would I have 3 daughters? What am I going to tell them when I get back with them? If I want to tell them my whole story, will I not be ashamed of certain things? So I recognized that I didn't at the time, hindsight, that this was an opportunity for me to experience and see the world and see the different levels of life that people live outside of the little bubble that I had lived my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Detroit, I call it my wilderness experience, the belly of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
I was black girl lost and turned out. I was all of that. And it got to a point where I knew that I would have moments where God would just hit my spirit and say, go to a church right now. Mind you, I might be selling guns, 9mm Glocks out the box, or I'm hooking up people from my hometown that's trying to get drugs here. I would be the go-between and make my little cash on the side. I was a madam. I couldn't do it, but I'm gonna plug you to the situation. Like within year 2 to 3, it started to engulf me. And it was one of those environments that I'm gonna get you before you get me. And so I would have women who were in the nightlife who would attach themselves to me, knowing that I was green. But I'm singing at this club over here, or I'm closing out this movie over here. And they wanted to be where the money was, and they knew I was a money magnet and I was too green to get the money. So they would come with me, get paid. I'm trying to figure out how to get $50 for my hotel room, or find someone that I could trust if I can stay a night at their house. And this girl that made $1,000 hanging out with me hadn't offered me a dime. So when I realized what was going on, I was like, listen, you want to hang with me, you got to give me $100. Or you can't hang with me. I don't need a ride that bad. And that's sort of how the whole madam thing started. But through each level of things that I was doing that was in the underground, God would tell me, put that down, don't touch it again. I was like, okay. One example, I would do private parties, and I'm talking about, I can't even, we're live, so I won't name the celebrities, but I'm talking about from the mayor to famous judges that are on TV to NBA players, knew me, would hit me up for the CD that I would send them, and they could pick what girls they want to come to their party, and they would pay me $2,000-$3,000 up front and pay each girl a little bit. Go. I would have security go to the party with the girls and everything. And there was a big NBA player at the time. He was at the height of his career, his 27th birthday. And the day of the event, I got a download, and God told me, do not go, walk away. I called some girl, I said, sis, you want this party? I'm washing my hands, I'm letting it go. She was like, are you crazy? You know how much money? I'm letting it go. It was so many things that transpired during that season of my life, but I would go to a church and just pray and cry and pray. And I would have dreams, and I had a dream journal. I would write all my dreams down in my journal. And I knew that God had something bigger and greater for me. And one of my best friends in the whole world, he was in nightlife, but he saw me. In the midst of all of that, he saw me. And he said to me one day, he was like, you know, you're something like Oprah. I'm like, Oprah? He said, your mind is brilliant. He said, you need to learn how to think like a boss. And be a boss. Because you're not like these other women. You're not like these other people. You have something unique and different about you. And he would school me in what it is to be a leader and to be a boss. How a lot of women would cry. If they had an issue, they would cry and, fret. But men look at a problem and quickly go into figuring out the solution.
Exactly.
So he taught me that. So I began to deal with life with that masculine energy. I would have a situation come up and I would just resolve it in this way. So I started to grow and build. Now, being the artist that I was, I would paint on my clothes, because at one point I didn't have the money for fashion to go to these events, and I would paint on my blue jeans. Somebody asked me how much, or where'd you get those? Oh, I'm the designer. Really? I said, oh yeah, $100 for a pair of jeans. Before you knew it, everybody in the city of Detroit was rocking my jeans, $200 a pair. Jeans, purses, boots, jackets. So I did a business plan over in Turkey with the distributors. Like, it went to the next level. That was the first time that I realized if I put my mind to something and I put my hand in it, it's going to go to the next level. So, Detroit taught me so much. I was grateful to survive without HIV or AIDS, in my right mind, in having my sanity, and recognizing that God had pulled me through, that there was a purpose to my life.
Yeah. Now we're getting to it. Now we're getting to the purpose.
Because
let's talk about it.
All of the people that I met and all of the things that I went through, I came from this little shelter. I mean, I was a kid growing up. I wasn't allowed off my grandmother's porch at like 11 or 12. All the kids just run up and down the street. I think I was allowed to come off the porch at probably 11, but from one block to the other, I couldn't leave.
Wow.
The kids was up the street at the projects or down by the city steps or at the rec center. I wasn't allowed to go because my grandma was just, I was sheltered. So for me to be a sheltered girl, I got to see that there were people that if someone could give them the information, that they wouldn't compromise who they were for $1.
Absolutely.
The only reason they did is because they hadn't been taught. No one had given them the information, showed them. And who wanted to see a holy roller with a black skirt and a white shirt toting the Bible? That's not God. That's organized religion. So for me, when I came out and I took a look at how I had been preserved, how I knew that there was a purpose for my life, I instantly came back and went into ministry, and the flow was very organic. And I knew that church, the way I saw it, I love corporate worship, but I didn't like the fact that there were things that they didn't talk about, and that there were leaders who acted as if none of the stuff that everyday people go through they had ever experienced. In the way that churches are, they have the chairs up on the pulpit, they're sitting in their finery and their glory, and here are all of the people that are coming in. And so for me, I needed to make sure that I share with women and with people let's talk about some real life issues.
Let's deal with that. So, what does purpose mean to you?
Purpose. So purpose is the thing that gives you joy and makes you happy on the inside. It is the thing that you would do for free. It is the fuel, it's the gasoline to your car. And for a lot of folks, I would have women and people come up to me like, Elder Mushir, I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is. Can you help me find my purpose? And finding your purpose is you tapping in to your reality. If you're always the one that's a great host, if you're always a person that's welcoming and loving people, or if you're someone that loves to cook and want to feed people, your heart from your food, that's your purpose. If you're someone that loves to make stuff and craft with your hands, you're going to go to work and get that job that's your 9 to 5. You're going to make the money to pay your bills, but your purpose is the thing that puts it up. It's going to tie it all together. When all of the dots connect and you have this bliss and this internal joy, you would do it for free. You don't even recognize that this is what you're doing, but other people are coming to tell you, that you just did this. That's your purpose.
That's powerful. So do you think that whatever a person feels passionate about the most is their purpose? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And why?
Can you repeat it again, please? I had just sent a text for this live. Somebody was texting me and said they couldn't get on.
Oh, sure, no problem. Do you think that whatever a person feels passionate about the most is their purpose?
So it's a part of their purpose, but I don't believe it's their full purpose, because when we're not healed, we tap on and attach ourselves to things that make us feel good that might not be for our good, that might not be connected to our purpose. At the time, that thing will give you the validation and confirmation that you need. And so finding your true purpose happens when you get a certain level of internal healing, and then you're able to see the dots and the consistency in the patterns of who you authentically are, outside of the things you might do for attention or the things you might do to be validated or to be confirmed, which often people can mistake as their purpose.
Wonderful. Excellent answer. I totally agree with you, because I know that for myself, when I started my journey, I know I thought I was supposed to do a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? But life shifted. And that,
Yeah, say that again.
You know, and that which I thought I was going to do, I didn't end up doing it in the manner that I thought I was going to do it. Now, I still did what I was chosen to do. However, it was in a totally different light. It definitely wasn't what I had envisioned, you know. And then once I grew,
usually
exactly, once I grew spiritually, you know, then I was like, oh, like I'm supposed to be going this way, you know what I'm saying? Not that way anymore. So I totally agree with you there, because there's some people who I'm gonna use the hip hop artist called the MC called Rakim. For those who know about the hip hop artist called Rakim, right? Rakim said, you know, he wanted to play football. Wow. You know, and so it was a friend, I think, that had heard him rhyming or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, man, you know, you really need to take this thing serious, man. He's like, man, whatever. You know, he was more focused on playing football, you know? And then a situation occurred where, you know, he turned to the rap. He's like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to turn to doing hip hop. And then now we know him as, you know, the God MC. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know him today, you know. I ain't no joke.
I used to let the mic smoke.
I used to let the, you know what I'm saying? You
know, boy, do I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I recognize that sometimes we think a thing, but when something happens, our life shifts and we end up going in a totally different direction. And we think that, oh, something went wrong. But it didn't go wrong. It went right, because it got you on the right path.
Listen, I thought that I was going to be the next Diana Ross. You couldn't tell me that my future, you know, and I have relatives. My one cousin says it all the time. Mushir was Beyonce before there was a Beyonce. Mushir was, you know, a triple threat before. Like, literally, Dallas Austin called my house, talked to me on the phone, and sent plane tickets for me to come to Georgia to record and do music in like 91. This is before Tony Braxton, before TLC. My baby dad told my mom, all the men in the industry want to do is just have sex and exploit young girls. You shouldn't let her go. You know, and talk me out of it. Talk my mom and my family out of it. But I'm saying that to say that sometimes you have these gifts that are really huge gifts, and those gifts will push you to believe that that's your purpose. Like you said with football and Rakim, those gifts, but those gifts are only there for you to have the life experiences that will then guide you to. Because for every record deal that I got trapped in, for every bad situation, and all of the phenomenal, amazing, and horrible things that I learned throughout the music industry, they all led me to a higher level of healing, self-awareness, and recognizing God's true call on my life. I recognize that these things are tools for me to use to draw people in, to know that it's about tapping in the spirit in everything that's connected to this melanin I'm rocking in.
All praises be. How has discovering your purpose affected your life?
I don't chase music anymore. There was a time when you couldn't ever believe that I would not have a microphone in my hand. Acting and singing are two of my true passions and joys. I love to write plays, write scripts. I love to act, and I love to sing, and I love to write songs. And I chased and I did that for a very long time. And it was means to an end, because tapping into the reward that I get from, so real recognize real. I can meet a woman in her 60s, 70s. I can meet a woman 20, 30. I can meet a woman who's a hood urchin. No disrespect, but every other word out of her mouth is motherfucking bitch. You know, that's a part of our culture. Or someone that's so elegant and sophisticated and they always talk with their mouth. From the White House to the crack house, I can relate. I thank God for my highs and my lows. I didn't know that the journey was so that I could relate. I thought it was about my gift and I wanted to sing and I wanted to act and I wanted to do that. But those tools cultivated and got me ready for the real journey, which is people. To be able to look in someone's eyes who's in pain and they feel like they can't make it and they're not going to make it through, and have a conversation with them and pull them in. Guess what? They stop right there. They stop right there. And they're like, you know what? I feel you. Some of the women that I had come to my Bible study that were consistently there, I admired and looked up to. But they love the opportunity to come and be honest, to be transparent, to have a safe place. And they knew that I meant it from the bottom of my heart. They knew that even inside of my flaws and the growth curve that I was experiencing, that they were a part of that journey with me, that it was authentic because I shared my life journey and my story in real, recognized real, and we were able to move together. So yeah, you know, recognizing that the transparency of sharing my story is what draws people in. And I knew that that was the call on my life, to use my creative gifts to bring people to internal self-healing and self-awareness.
That's powerful. John Fraser said, I'm here, sheer listening.
Hi, John. I grew up with him.
All
Big
right.
E, Big E says, talk to him, says, that is one of my, she's really like a sister to me, for real, for real. That's my goddaughter's mom.
Wonderful,
Glad
wonderful.
they're tuning in.
So when you're dealing with purpose, right, Mushir,
Mhm.
how important is it for someone to know it? Like if they don't know it, and from your opinion or experience, how do you feel like that's really going to affect their life?
So the more that you try to run away from facing you and getting that real internal healing, the longer it's going to take for you to be able to find your purpose. Because we are a total sum of our life experiences. And those life experiences, so I got to double back. As Black people in the United States, we were born into a system that was not created for our progress, that was not created for our best. So there are transgenerational traumas and traumas to our life that we are blind to. Carter G. Woodson's book, The Miseducation of a Negro, shares that there was a plan that was put together for our demise hundreds of years ago. And so there are people who are just inside of the marching orders of our lives. And they have no clue and no idea that they were supposed to have something totally different for the course of their life. Because I'm just dealing with basic needs. I go to work, I come home, and my culture has taught me from Friday to Sunday, I'm at the bar getting a drink, smoking some weed. I got a new nigga that I'm flexing with. I got this new chick that I'm rocking with. And that's become the culture. But that's not what we were created for. So, in order to get to your purpose, your first purpose has to be finding out who the real you is, falling in love with the real you, and accepting the commitment of this journey to internal healing. Because without that, your life experiences are going to continue to fool you into believing what you already know is true. And it's not. It's not.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I totally agree with that because the pleasures of life is here for us for our enjoyment, but it's not our purpose at all. And I'm so glad that you touched on that because, I come from the industry myself. I was a local, which you already know what that is. For those who do not know, a local meaning that we wasn't at a mainstream level. For those who listen, like I wasn't a P Diddy.
Mhm.
I was a manager at a local level, and I was so caught up in the materialistic things. So I definitely love what you said because I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was sitting in the VIP. I had the women. I was there with the big dogs. We had an invited Waka Flocka actually came down and performed. I was part of an entertainment business called 4 Year Entertainment when I was in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay.
And we was getting ready to bring down Yo Gotti, but people was getting ready to pull out guns, and it got real heated. It got hot. You understand? And it wasn't worth it, man. It wasn't worth all the drama and the trauma, that came along with chasing the money. Because I promise you, Money, Power, Respect by the Locks with Little Kim was my anthem. I
Yes.
promise you, I live by Money, Power, Respect. I really did, you know, but I had no peace.
Yeah.
I had no peace, man. I really, truly, sincerely didn't. I have to be honest about that. And that's what they sell us in the entertainment world. They sell us the glitz. They sell us the glam, They sell us all that things like that right there. But inside people, they're emotionally distressed, and it's an outward facade because they're trying to impress everybody, but internally they're depressed, right?
Yeah, you're right. And one of the things that's so crazy is that if that internal healing is not something that is looked like, it's going to always be that same story. Like if in our culture, if we're unable to unplug from the matrix forever, you will be a local, as you call it. And it's okay because it takes all kinds to make the world go round. But we are plugged into like the foundation of everything that I share and everything that I understand right now is we are plugged into this 3D world and life that is fake. Everything from the Gregorian calendar to time being relevant to who we are as Black melanated people. Like you don't hear about the phenomenal melanin and the stuff that they're doing in medicine with melanin. They don't want us to know because we have it and they don't. And I'm not against our non-melanated people. My grandma, of course, like it's in my blood. I'm just talking about what I've found out. In order for me to walk in my power, to walk in my purpose, I have to first face who I am. And in doing that, I have to realize the lie that I've been plugged. You remember as a kids, we watched The Wizard of Oz, the movie, right?
Oh yeah.
And Dorothy was just like, I want to go home. I want to go home. She's made all these little friends, and they had all these little problems and issues everywhere. They had all of these problems. But guess what? When she finally got to the great Oz that was going to get her home, she realized that he was the same as her. And that the whole time she could have got home on her own. And that's what this world and this situation is. If you don't do the work for yourself, if you don't heal yourself, if you don't get tapped into a higher level of consciousness, and then getting tapped in is just the first part, because then that's why a part of why I'm doing this 21-day raw. There's a higher level of self-discipline that you have to take to constantly get in alignment with what you're learning. Because you can learn some stuff, but how do you fit that in when I love chicken? I ain't never letting chicken go. I don't care. It's good. It's crunchy. Cheese, macaroni and cheese is my staple. Like we were born addicted to salt and sugar.
Yeah, that barnyard pip, that was my favorite food too, you know.
Now I could get the reality or the confirmation that cheese and dairy and milk clogs my arteries. Cheese, dairy, and milk, high blood pressure, heart disease, it's going to kill me. I can look at all of the data and all of the numbers and what it does to Black people. I know that. But the cognitive dissonance, I can grab new information, but me having that new information is not going to change me from the tradition, the foundation of tradition that's deeply embedded. Fam, I don't know. So one of the things that I'm on this topic I wanted to share in regards to assisting someone in shifting their mindset. Okay, say somebody's watching this podcast, they loving the conversation, they feeling like it's resonating with them, it's something that they've already been thinking about, they want to do. In order to shift your mindset, you really have to have a higher level of self-discipline. It's not gonna work. You have to, I wrote some points down. Overcoming limitations, because your mindset determines how you perceive and respond to challenges. Embrace resilience. Changes and setbacks are inevitable on your path to success. It's going to happen. How do you deal with that? What do you do when you're faced with that? Cultivating positivity, finding things that help you get through to go through, getting grounded, even some tapping. Let's do some tapping. Let's find out some different ways to heal ourselves and get take your shoes off and go stand in the grass. Enhancing self-belief, shifting my mindset involves developing a better view and perspective of me. And as being a Black person, in my only culture and heritage I have is church and slavery. Tell me a Black person in this world who hasn't taken an internal healing journey. Their background is church and slavery. Come on, bro, share something.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all we have is church and slavery. You know, so for me, it was incredibly important to, you know, make sure that I'm authentic and that I'm transparent. But at the same time, I had to learn how to, you know, set some boundaries and limits. Because of my journey, I was looking for validation and confirmation. So I'm going to show up as the Mushir you can receive. Because if I be my whole self, I'm sucking all oxygen out the room. Folks is feeling some kind of way about me when I come in the room because I got all this big positive energy and I think you like me because I like you and let's share and hey, what are we going to do? And this person over here is looking at me like who she thinks she is. She ain't better than nobody. That's the crabs in the barrel mentality that most of the people in our culture deal with. And they struggle with being okay with loving themselves, being okay with the things they are good at. Because our society and culture has made us believe that, survive with the fittest, survive with the flyers, keeping up with the Joneses. If you ain't the Joneses, then you ain't nobody. When we have to flip that, because now what cultivates our culture, or should be cultivating our culture, is the barefoot tree hugger, wrapped in all white, pure, tapped into the ancestors, understanding and knowing that God left a deposit of a piece of him in everything on this planet, including you. So does that make you a God? Oh, that totally goes against Christian belief. But all of that is cognitive dissonance. All of that are parts of the plan for them not, the people that created and cultivated civilization. That's what organized religion. Let's divide everybody up and let's keep the majority of the information for us. Give them enough for them to know it's real. But we're going to keep the majority of it for us. And I'm out of the box. I'm out of the shadow. I am sharing information with all of my beautiful Christian people, people who are in Islam, people who are Buddhists, people who are atheists and don't even know God. Get healed and your life will change. trust the process and know that you were created for something beautiful and amazing. And the power in you is unlimited. You just have to surrender to purpose. Hence the title.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
I mean, I could go, like I told you, I have a book that I'm about to drop, Awakening the Boss Within, and it basically talks about the transgenerational
Put some fire out there, family. Put some fire out there for the queen. Put some fire out there. If she dropping those jewels and she bringing the heat, hey, put some fire emojis out there, man. Come on, show us some love. Put some fire emojis out there. Let's see it. Let's see.
I mean, one of the greatest things that organized religion has done for us as a people in separating or in pulling us away from our power, pulling us away from the growth and elevation that we would have gotten to on our own, because organized religion is control and power. It's dogma and suppression. It's social hierarchies. It's exploitation and material gain, persecution and intolerance. Those are all of the parts of organized religion. And it boils down to cognitive dissonance, because I could hear some information that resonates with me, like, wow, I want to try that. I want to maybe read that book and see how that'll resonate with me. I know that God created everything on this planet and I have power, authority, and dominion. But if I have scriptures that are so deeply rooted in every part of me that tell me Christ is the only perfect person, you were born in sin, you're going to die in sin, you'll never, there's all of these things that I'm just like, okay, but I need to heal, because if I can quote every scripture, I could pay the highest tithe, and I'm in church from Sunday to Sunday. I'm cleaning the toilets. I'm doing the praise and worship. I'm doing all of these works, but I still go home and I'm broken. I still go home and I feel pain. My therapist didn't talk me to death. I've done all of these activities that she's asking me to do. How can I get healed? How can I feel better? Man, this internal healing that I've been on, bruh, is amazing. And I'm just excited to be able to share with the world that it is our time. It is our time to rise, our time to shine, our time to trust the process. Know that everything you need to be the best of who you are, you have it. You don't have, the more that you're looking externally, and this is something I want to drop. We come from a culture where everything is outside. God is outside. I'm going to blame you because you did it and you did it and this and everything is outside. That's how you know you're stuck in the matrix, baby. Because for real, it comes all internal. There's not a situation or anything that I could go through with someone that's not going to be an opportunity for me to grow, because I'm going to look at how could I have done better? How could I have interacted or engaged differently? What can I do to have a better understanding based on my life experience and my journey? But that only happens when you're tapped in and when you have committed. That's right. It's past time. It is our time. Fear has to leave. And you know what? A lot of people have fear, depression, and anxiety. And I'm not coming and trying to tell everybody to become vegan. But when an animal is killed and slaughtered, it's like this. It's petrified. And they kill it. And we eat that meat. You think because spirit, you think that some of the energy from that meat we're not consuming? There's so much that transpires that we've been blind to. All I'm asking folks is just to wake up and commit to the journey of loving you. Praying and asking God to come along with you on this journey. I ain't asking nobody to drop Christianity or drop their religion. I'm saying ask God to cover you while you go on this journey and this process. And the truth will find you.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. Queen Mushir, we thank you so much for coming on the platform and sharing your knowledge and wisdom and understanding to help people to evolve and for them to surrender to their purpose. Everybody in the audience, from my wife, Amani Jambour, and I, we thank you all so much for joining us on this evening. Thank you for supporting our sister too. You're such wonderful friends. You took out the time to come and support your sister. So for that, hey, salute.
I want to add.
Thank you.
Can I add a nugget?
Sure. Go ahead, drop it.
So I'm revamping my website, but you can go to the Power in You Unlimited, grab a bag of Priority. This tea cleans all of the toxins out of your system. If you're working out and eating clean, it will help you drop weight. If you don't want to lose weight and you don't need to lose weight, see, I'm speaking to her right now. Sis, this is for you. But the tea, it cleans the toxins.
Everybody don't know that's my wife right there, man. That woman funny, boy. And they ain't gonna Cookie Monster, huh? Rebuke it.
I'm not listening. I didn't read it.
Rebuke that Cookie Monster, brother and sister.
I'm on a raw diet, and do you understand that I've recognized every commercial on TV when I'm driving down the street? Everything is just all of these food signs coming at me, and it's stuff that wants to kill me, and I can't have it. But go to the website, grab the waist trainer, grab the alkaline water bottle. If you buy this and you have this in your house, you can pour sink water in here. It's going to ionize it within 5 minutes. Grab some tea. I'm out here living this life every day, and my goal is for everybody I know to jump on board with me. Ooh, I know that's right, sis. Amen.
I know no, she right. Because we go to the grocery store and I get the vegan cookies, you understand? So that's what she talking about.
Okay.
She talking about me being her supplier. But it's all good though. Hey fam, once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please check out our good sister. This is her website, www.thepowerinyouunlimited.com. You also follow our sister on IG. Okay, as you can see there, Mushir _CEO. Okay, Facebook, follow our sister there, Mushir Kenzo Howell. Okay, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Much love.
I'm on TikTok, Unlimited Possibilities.
Okay, and on TikTok, Unlimited Impossibilities.
Yep, TEAS.
TEAS, the Queen said. All right, so you could also follow her. My Queen said, absolutely amazing, sis. I truly enjoyed you. For the Queen has spoken. Hey, I love it when another queen, straighten up another queen crown. That's a beautiful thing right there.
I'm really blessed.
Let's see, brother John Frazier. He said, Mushir, the Most High was talking to you. I'm fighting fear and the anxiety. So please pray for. Wow, that's deep.
I will.
Wow, confirmation, brother John, man. I commend you from one man to another one. I commend you for being transparent because transparency brings transformation. So I'm so grateful for that. And it's good to see another brother that doesn't mind, being transparent, man. So I want to salute you for that, King. Keep taking dominion of your life, my brother.
Yes. And I want to just say very quickly, there's only one true creator of the universe, of everything. So regardless of what religion you're tapped into, know that God
I
loves
love you, God, Mom.
I love you.
That's all right. I couldn't let that one go. That's beautiful.
That's my boo. That is my boo.
Salute.
But I'm praying for the Creator, God, our Father, Mother Earth, the universe. And I'm calling out all of those things because as you evolve on your journey, you will recognize the beauty of those different titles. But I'm praying that God bless you and keep you in perfect peace, and everything that you need, you will receive. Just commit to the process. The power in you is unlimited, and then you can surrender to your purpose.
Ashe. And we bid you all a good night. And may you have a blessed rest of your week. Okay? And may your weekend be the same. We love y'all. Peace and love.
Mwah.